down like that. Pull it back this way. Okay. Now, this box here can go right down here in the front. Just like that. And that's the lid. Oh, we do. Sure do. They look good. They look good. Easy down there. Okay.
How long do you wait till you put the frames in?
How long do you wait to put the frames in?
Yeah.
You can put when the bees have cleared the floor enough where you're not smashing them. You're not going to get them all out. You can get more out than that though. Okay. So you've got flat lids like that. Just be mindful. Take the smoker. Just a little bit of this right here is all you need.
Jimmy, does the flat lids not have inner covers like
do not.
that?
They do not. And the reason they don't is because flat lids can be pried from the outside, whereas telescoping lids can't be. And so they put the inner cover on the telescoping lids so you have something to pry off. It's just a
Do you need a crane excluder? When you
no, not now.
Not now?
Okay. That's yours? That was yours? Smoke those bees down right there. See how many bees we got here now? That's a nice package of bees. Smoke these bees down. Just lightly smoke them on top and let's get them to go down a little bit. Yes. Okay, good. We just need to get more fuel. That's on control. Here's where you might use your brush right here. Brush it all the way. We're done. We do need the feeder.
Oh, that's a drone right there. That big one?
Yeah.
It's a drone.
How big he is.
It's a huge one.
Oh,
Queen is bigger than that.
how pretty. He's big. Go find a sexy queen to mate with, huh?
And we want to cut screen. Ken May, how we doing? And when we want this entrance reducer. These about an inch is all. So we'll cut that like that. Now these are Mary's nukes. I'm going to leave them sit here and let the bees settle down on them. Let these crawl out, and then about dark I'm going to move them where they need to be. So when y'all set your bees out on location, if you're going to put them on hayloft blocks, don't do it at first. Put them on the ground first. That way your bees can do the crawling, and then just have one set right up on top of the blocks. So you do need to set your bees up on blocks of some kind to keep them out of the ants. And otherwise, the most important thing to do with bees on foundation is to feed them. How much do we feed them? A quart a day. How many days do we feed them? 7 sixes is 42. You need to lead them about 42 days at least, or until they've drawn out all the frames on each side. Now, they will have put some of that sugar syrup up into the combs as reserve but that's for them. That's for them. They'll use it. In the effort of drawing out the comb, they will have collected extra syrup to put in those combs. So if you'll feed them for 6 weeks of syrup, a quart a day, or if they only take up 3/4 of a quart or whatever, but every day for 42 days, you make sure they've got syrup on them to suck on. They'll make that comb for you, and that's the only way you get comb. They do not make artificial comb. They make artificial foundation, but not comb. So they'll draw those combs out. Now, we won't have to do that as much here because we're working these bees on comb instead of foundation. So, but your bees, we will check these bees in 1 week. We're going to come back and check these bees for queen rightness in 1 week. And we're going to see if they're queen right, and then we'll check them 2 weeks after that. So we've got a 1 week check and a 3 week check. So that's what y'all are doing right now. Feed them every day until we do our 1 week check, and then we do our 3 week check.
When do you remove the screen?
I won't remove the screen until they clog it up. Yeah, you can take and fold that screen in half too. It's just nice to have that screen right next to the feeder here so that no bees can race in there and grab some of the syrup and run away, lobbing it out. So that way we just protect the food source too. Okay, it's not rocket science. If you do it 1, 2, 3, it ought to work just fine. Light your smoker, get it lit. Make sure your smoker's going good. Make sure your equipment is queen tight, bee tight, so you're not having bees crawl up into where you live. Get your bees watered down, shook down, the can out, the queen out, the cardboard back on top, move the queen over, take the frames out, move the queen over here, shake the bees in on top of the queen, smoke them down a little bit, close them up, and start feeding them. This is their new home. It'll take them several days to get used to it. That's why I want to give them about a week if we can.
What about the can?
The can here, you can take that.
Do those go back?
Yeah, those go back, and I don't want you to take and cut the tops of the cans out. I know that they only have 3 holes in them. If you want to try to shake that syrup out, I'm not sure. When you put the cans back in, put them back in this way with the holes up, okay? If you can take that syrup out, fine, but don't destroy the can because Clint wants to use that can again, and I'll leave that to him as to what he wants to do with the syrup that's there. It was there for the purpose of transporting the bees, and we've done that. Recovering this syrup out of here is not going to be anything monumental. Used to, they had grommets in them. You can take the grommet out and shake it all out, but I don't see that in these, so I'd rather we just leave the syrup in there and turn it upside down.
When you make your own syrup, do you have to heat up the water?
No, you do not. The heated water makes the sugar dissolve more quickly. You can, but then you have to cool it back down too. So you can put warm syrup on the bees, but not hot syrup. 1-to-1 syrup is what?
1 pound of sugar?
1 pound of sugar, 1 pound of water. Water weighs 8 pounds per gallon. A quart of water is 2 pounds. A half gallon of water is 4 pounds. So either take 2 4-pound bags of sugar to a gallon of water, or take 2 4-pound bags of sugar to a half gallon of water.
A pound a pint.
A pound per pint.
Or take that quart jar filled up with sugar, and then pour it in a bowl. Then take that quart jar and fill it up with hot water and pour it in the bowl and mix it up. That's 1-to-1. And then pour it back into the quart jar.
They won't fit.
Yes.
Can I use high top feeders and have a couple?
Absolutely. You can use hive top feeders, but I'm insisting that the scholarship
for them,
kids
right.
use the Boardman feeder because that makes them check the hive every day, and it gives them some kind of calculation of how much syrup the bees are taking down. It's kind of like that thermometer, but in reverse. You know, how quick's our bank account going down or whatever. So, but you can use the hive top feeder, and a lot of people do use it. But for these scholarship hives, I'm insisting that they use the Boardman feeder. They've all got one in front of them. And all that feeder jar is a mason jar with holes punched in the lid, and you've already got the lid there, right? Now here's the lid. All we need is the mason jar, which is a mayonnaise jar or ball jar or anything that lid screws onto. Okay. Now I'm going to send these people home with their bees. It's 2:25. Say it takes them an hour to get home. By 4 o'clock, they might be in a position where if they go ahead and went to work, they can start putting their bees in. And by supper time, when's supper?
Supper time, you got honey.
7. If supper time is 7 and you're going to have your bees hive before 7. Don't go in the hive for a week. Just make sure that you get them fed. Make sure that queen is hanging well though. The frames are pushed together. You got 10 frames, so when time you get those 10 frames in and push that together, you can take your veils off there if you want to.
What if we have to wait till tomorrow to have our baby?
That's all right. If tomorrow's the day that you do it, just take these and set them in place, just like we had in the shop there, out on the back patio, out of the sun, up away from the ants, in the garage, just somewhere where it's cool. Until tomorrow, and then you'll do the same thing. They'll be ready to go tomorrow.
And I have one more question.
Yes, ma'am.
The fuel for the smokers,
Uh-huh.
the burlap, where do you get that?
God sends it, I guess. I don't
guess
know.
so.
I can't.
What about the smoker fuel that you buy from like Daytona?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. That the pellets is fine.
The round disc stuff that they send me?
It's some of it is cotton seed hull. If you go to a feed store and ask them, do you have any burlap bags? These were potato bags from the Red River Valley Potato Company or something like that. So, okay. Everybody get enough pictures? If you want to do more questions, yes, ma'am. Okay, we can go back out there and pick up bees now. Caleb, where are you at?
You just left, I think. You just looked back over.
Okay, somebody needs to be out there, but they need to check you off and make sure that you get your deposit return card. All right. Okay, thank you for coming. We're done here. We have a meeting on the 23rd. Where'd Mary go?